Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at greater invasion points, lesser invasion points, and everything you need to know in WoW Legion Remix Phase 4. So let's talk about what are invasion points. We'll cover the lesser ones and then the greater ones separately. Gaining access to them requires you to have access to Argus. This will require you to have access to the Vindicar. You will need to complete the Hand of Fate quest with Khadgar, which will give you access to the Vindicar. You will have immediate access to invasion points. You do not have to complete the quest, the Invasion Point Offensive, to gain access. This was the case in the original Legion. All characters will now immediately have access to invasion points, which will show up on your map. We will start with lesser invasion points. So lesser invasion points are shown on your map with just a green portal. They have no skull insignia on them at the top, and they show up with just this kind of green circle that you see. Lesser invasion points are up for 6 hours, and there are always 3 of them up at any given time. These invasion points will expire after the 6 hours, and they rotate 2 hours between each one. So basically every 2 hours you'll get a new one, while the other 2 start to count down. Entering and completing an invasion point is super simple. Once you get there, you can right click them, and then each invasion point is made up of 3 stages. The first stage is usually getting control of the area. The second stage is usually involving completing certain challenges, and then the third stage is defeating a random boss that will spawn in each zone. The boss is randomized based on the zone that you are completing, and the nodes that you see, for example in this case the lava, is different each time. So when you enter, it could be an ice node, jungle, etc, etc. What's important to take note is that you can also spawn in with other players beyond your control. So you don't always have complete control over who you spawn in, and once you move out, the instance will close for you. So once you enter, you'll be in a randomized instance where other players may join in and join out as they see fit. If you are on Heroic World Tier or Normal World Tier, it does affect the difficulty of the enemies inside. So if you're on Heroic World Tier, you will have Heroic World Tier enemies. If you are on Standard World Tier, you will have that level of enemy. Once you have defeated the boss in the invasion, you will get some infinite power and some bronze. You will also get a little bit of an item. Generally it's just a 584 item, and you'll be able to teleport out. So less invasions are okay, but generally they're not that good for farming. You can do them solo, so that's okay. Greater invasions are indicated on your map by the giant large portal with a skull on it. These will be slightly different to lesser invasions in that they do not have the 3 instances. Instead, they are only open 1 at a time, and essentially they are the regional world bosses for the Argus area. So once you enter them, you will be grouped with other players, and you will be tasked with taking out a boss. Once you've entered the greater invasion, you will need to fight your way through some of the mobs and make your way to the back where the boss is, where you'll be able to take them on with other players that are instanced in that greater invasion. The bosses are not too hard depending on if you're on Heroic World Tier or Standard, but either way, for someone who's max level with a bit of unlimited behind them, you should be more than fine to take out the bosses. Once you've defeated the boss, you will again receive some infinite power and some bronze and some lesser bronze cash, and you will also get a few fragments. Most notably, you will get a cache of infinite power. As mentioned before, these bosses refresh every day, so they're a cool way to pick up some extra items and also complete some important achievements, which we'll talk about shortly. So greater invasions aren't really content that we need to spam. The rewards are okay for greater invasions. Lesser invasions, obviously not so great, but really the reason you're doing them is for the achievements. The achievements for the invasions tie into some infinite knowledge. So for example, you will have seen that I got a infinite knowledge point for completing a greater invasion. You've also seen that I got one for completing a lesser invasion point. If you go down and then continue to upgrade the greater invasion one, you will get another infinite knowledge point. And then on top of that, if you look at the challenges in terms of the bosses, if you do the every single type of greater invasion boss, of which there are 6, you will also get an infinite knowledge point. That's the only real reason you need to do the greater invasions. There's no other significant reason. You can obviously do the daily greater one for that infinite cache, because infinite caches are still pretty nice. But besides that, there's really no key focal point for greater invasions. They're not something you need to worry about spamming, etc., beyond completing for your achievements. But yeah, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.